paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's downright refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Doctor Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
How do we feel about this?
What is that?
How do I feel about what? Oh, what in the... That makes me very uncomfortable. I think it's the toenails.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's Kirby with a hyper-realistic face and feet. It was 3D printed and given to me the day that I won the SCG Baltimore Open. And I rediscovered it a couple days before playing Eternal Weekend. And I'm not saying it's connected, but every weekend that I've had... His name is Thigtone, because he's like Tigtone, but thick.
All right.
And every event that I've had him, I've won or done well in. So who's to say what's good or bad?
I can say that's objectively a bad thing. Even if it's a lucky totem, it's still cursed.
And welcome in to the show, everybody. Brainstorm Brewery
Got
here.
toes.
That's
Cass
me,
is showing
Corbin
you-
Hostler. 1% of our listening audiences watches us on YouTube, so I'm going to start the cast referencing something you can only see.
That's right.
I'm a professional.
Go to youtube.com/Brainstorm Brewery. You see it in all its glory. But yes, that was Cass introducing the good luck charm that led to a top 8 appearance at the Legacy Champs for North America.
Top
at
4 is
Eternal
in the top
Weekend.
8.
In top
Maybe,
8, I defeated Bryant Cook. So I'm claiming my top 4 victory. I beat my worst matchup in the top 8.
This is an amazing story, by the way, because this is we always knew you were like lending competitive credibility to our podcast, but this is a new, like a current level of credibility.
I thought we brought
here.
Cass on because she's the only one who knows finance.
That's also true.
Well, that is incredible. Let's hear it though. Let's hear the story. I was not at Eternal Weekend. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it over the weekend. It sounds like there was some pretty cool stuff going on though, and then an exciting top 8. So yeah, you've got the floor, Cass. Let's hear all about Eternal Weekend.
Yeah, Eternal Weekend is always my favorite tournament. I love Legacy. I love Vintage a little bit less, but I still do love it. I've been excited for this a lot this year because I missed it last year, and I put a ton of work in, and my testing partner, one of them, is Jay Wojciechowski, the former reigning champion. He won in 2022 with 2022 with Blue Red Expressive Iteration Delver. And every week on Thursday night, our Legacy event, he plays in top 8 Ponder and flexes on me, and I knew I had to do something about that. I picked up a deck in about June or July, and I put a ton of work in with it, and I went 8-1 on day 1 of Swiss, losing only to Jay, my friend Jay, who would later go on to make the finals, and then on day 2, my only loss was in the top 4 to eventual champion TK. Half the top 8 was players who were somewhat local to me, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. 3 of the top 4 made it, and the finals was 2 friends. My top 4 match had a lot of drama. Not bad drama, but like good drama. I was 97%-ish to win, and I drew the 3% and lost a match that was for several $1,000s. And I feel bad about that, but I feel good about the eventual champion being someone who I can call a friend and who I can say I'm proud to represent North America Legacy, and especially DMV Legacy.
DMV,
Legacy,
the Department of Motor Vehicles.
DC, Maryland, Virginia, but yes, also the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm a big civil government fan.
My wife went to high school there. I just thought I'd be it.
I was trying to riff.
I am too busy apologizing to recognize a riff when it's incipient.
That's fair.
Real Leslie Knope vibes. Is that what I'm getting here?
A little bit.
Jason, you seem like somebody who hated that show.
It was a bad The Office, which is too bad because The Office was bad. It's so everyone's like, oh, you just didn't understand it or some. No, it was dumb. It was like the Diet Coke of comedy in the first place. Like it was
whoa,
NBC. Like
you don't diss Diet Coke like that.
Okay, the Diet Pepsi.
That's fine. Yeah,
It wasn't edgy enough
Diet
for
Pepsi.
you.
My homies all hate Diet Pepsi.
My wife likes Diet Pepsi. I think she's the only one buying it.
Yeah, your wife is
Pepsi.
wrong. My dad drinks
like,
5 cans of it a day.
That's disgusting.
I drink 0 cans of it ever.
Yeah, that's just correct.
Just drink the full calorie and just get your sugar tits and just like be okay.
Jason
with
needed some real dark, hard-hitting comedy on his NBC sitcom.
Well,
Just couldn't enjoy it.
I don't watch
Just
NBC
drink
sitcoms.
Acetone.
Exactly.
Just
Except
drink acetone. It's better than Diet Pepsi.
Acetonitral's cheaper because it's a byproduct of the leather, like the pleather making industry.
And you know,
where do you think winning the Legacy Champs stacks up?
I don't know. We'd have to ask TK.
TK would know.
What did you say?
I said TK would know.
Oh, TK would know. That is true. TK would know. TK is like a local legend. Just like, honestly, if I'm going to lose to anybody in top 4, let it be someone as great as him. It was a tournament of a lot of stories. Like, Jay was working for the back-to-back win. TK is like finally quit playing Maverick and started playing a good deck, and it was like Rock Lee dropping the training weights.
But
I was playing my pet deck.
Maverick is a good deck. Right? They
In
just printed a card
2013,
called
yeah.
Tarmogoyf that's going to really change. We can take out our Terravores.
Speaking of,
I'm stuck in 2008.
I played 4 Fiend Artisans in my Legacy deck, which is a card that is seen play basically nowhere else.
Yeah, Fiend Artisan
The card
looks sick.
it's Nightmare of the Reliquary. It's a really good mana sink for Gaia's Cradle, and also it's just like a 7/7 sometimes for 2. It kind of does a pack rat impression if you untap with it, because you just have Fiend Artisan find another Fiend Artisan. The next turn they both find another Fiend Artisan. And you just kind of pack rat it.
I've got some of the decks pulled up. I'm looking at this 4-color control list by TK here.
Yeah.
Stop me if you've heard of some of these cards. Brainstorm, Force of Will, Ponder, Dress Down, Murktide Regent. These are all things you've heard of. Now let me hit you with some Legacy, 30 years of Magic, Legacy Championship winning cards. Up the Beanstalk. Leyline Binding, Lorien Revealed, Orcish Bowmasters, Triumph of Saint Catherine.
Triumph pulls double duty because it synergizes with Beans because you get a lot more opportunities to draw cards on their turn to try Miracle. And also it's a 5-drop, so when you do Miracle, you draw another card off Beanstalk.
Is this a Pioneer deck?
No, it's a Legacy deck.
Is this a Commander deck? We got Warhammer cards, we got Lord of the Rings cards.
The deck is good. It was actually my second pick for the weekend if I didn't end up playing the Cradle combo deck. I was going to play the 4-color Beanstalk Bowmaster deck, and
I'm not going to lie, it looks like a pretty good deck. Looks like a good 4-color control deck, and it's not like it's terrible to see Control win a Legacy event, right? That's not a bad sign. What was your deck, though, Cass? Tell people about your list and what it aimed
It was
to do.
Elves.
it wasn't Elves. It was Elves, and then it wasn't. It's the creator of the deck initially. His name's Newton Hang. He calls it Cradle Control, and I get the tongue-in-cheek thing. I just call it Cradle Combo or Cradle Comrades, either way. But it's a deck that just tries to make the card Gaia's Cradle as good as possible. Fiend Artisan is a mana sink, Green Sun Zenith's a mana sink, Elvish Reclaimer finds Gaia's Cradle. And the thing is, to make Gaia's Cradle good, you have to play lots of cheap creatures, so I'm just playing 8 Hierarchs, 4 Noble and 4 Ignoble. Plays Once Upon a Time, Natural Order for Atraxa or Craterhoof. Lots of one-ofs because of that. The sideboard has like 4 Snuff Outs because I have Bayous to use as a kill spell. I played Invigorate as a cheeky bit of tech to like protect my X1s from Bowmasters or my Fiend Artisans from Lightning Bolts. And I actually got a couple people with Invigorate in combat just randomly. They weren't expecting my creature to get +4/+4 for no mana. It honestly was
so funny.
Yeah, it was a last-minute piece of tech from Newton, actually. I'm subscribed to his Patreon. I had to track down Invigorate's last minute, but it was good. It was really strong. The deck honestly feels like the kind of deck that rewards you learning it really well and then knowing how each matchup goes. I think I was very high odds to win my top 4 match, and you know, I some things didn't break my way, and I think if I had won that, I had a good chance in the finals, and I think this is the kind of deck that can win a Legacy tournament, and it's not just a fluke, and part of the reason why it's not played as much is because it needs 4 Gaia's Cradles that don't go in any other deck. You just like buy a $4,000 deck that you can't put your cards anywhere else.
Yep, that is a thing.
Yeah. But it's strong, and if you like making a lot of mana and you like tutoring creatures and putting Craterhoof into play and saying 50 damage, it's the deck for you.
So what else made top 8 of note? For people who haven't looked in on Legacy in a year or so.
Yeah, there were 6 or 7 different decks in top 8. There was 1 Cephalid Breakfast. I think there was 2 Red-White Painters. Grixis Delver was Jay, who was the finalist. Bryant Cook on the Epic Storm, his signature deck, who I battled in top 8. There's a video match of me getting very lucky against him. I think there was one other deck that I'm forgetting. But it was a really diverse field. Jay actually played against all unique decks the entire tournament until the finals. I only played against duplicate decks twice.
That's amazing.
I played against 3 Delver decks and 2 Lands decks, and everything else was one-ofs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Legacy. Not
It's
dead,
open.
it turns out. A lot of people playing, and the format seems very open.
Weirdly, Bowmaster opened the format up by making Brainstorm worse.
Yeah, I liked in the most recent ban restricted announcement, Wizards talked about Legacy and was like, these cards are too good. We would ban them. But you all told us that you'll quit Magic if we do.
Yep.
So we won't. And Legacy turns in a incredibly diverse top 8 at Eternal Weekend. Sounds not bad. What about Vintage, though? Is there anything to... I mean, as much as we know about Vintage, which is to say not a lot.
My understanding is the tournament was dominated by Oath and Bazaar decks. Atraxa and Oath is really good, turns out. I actually played against Justin Gennari. I'm actually level 1, I believe is his handle, in round 3 of the event, and he resolved an Oath trigger, and the first card he flipped over was the top 8 mental misstep that he won at Eternal Weekend Asia the week before. That's pretty intimidating when you're in a match, when your opponent
I would
just
say
like,
so.
Top 8 the event last week.
Yeah, so the winner of Vintage Champs here was Jewel Shops is the name of this list.
Yep.
It's a Mishra's Workshop deck. That looks like a vintage deck. 4 paradoxical outcomes. Is that just the thing?
You pick up Coveted Jewel with it and draw 3 more cards. Coveted Jewel is a sick one. It's a 6-mana artifact, and when it comes into play, you draw 3 cards. It's a Gilded Lotus. If an opponent attacks you and their creature isn't blocked, they draw 3 cards and gain control of the jewel.
Interesting. Okay,
The
sure.
idea is
We've
you just
also
power
got,
out and win that turn.
of course, we got a Voltaic Key combo thrown in here.
Time vault action.
Yeah, the One Ring, because that's what we do.
I learned the hard way in Vintage that Paradox Engine rather, untaps Time Vault. That works the way you want it to.
Oh.
Just 2 incredibly cards.
Yeah. 4 Grim Monolith. I like the Displacer Kitten in the deck. Displacer is a saga, of course.
So
but
It does a lot of busted stuff with Moxen.
the kitten does?
Yeah, imagine if you play a Kitten, play a Mox, flicker your Coveted Jewel, draw 3 more cards, make 3 more mana. Probably just win the game that way.
Seems good, I think. Not that I will pretend to know anything at all in the least about Vintage. But so what were the prizes? You mentioned these top 8 cards, but excuse me. So for people who aren't aware, Eternal Weekend has grown to a global event. There's Eternal Weekend Asia, you mentioned. There was Eternal Weekend in Europe. Obviously, this Eternal Weekend in the United States. What do people win? What's sort of the draw? How has this come to be such a thing where it's the gathering for Eternal Magic?
Yeah. So actually, speaking of it being the gathering for Eternal Magic, the Legacy event was 996 players.
Wow. We haven't
11 rounds of Swiss only.
You don't think people are hungry for a GP like circuit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like
Why?
the
Because
third
they
or fourth
played
biggest
one
Legacy
tournament a
event
year?
ever.
I don't know.
It's like the third or fourth biggest Legacy GP ever, right? It's the 900 people or something.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they ran 3 of these across like a 2-month period, Jason. This is running in parallel to the RC
I think it was
circuit that a
over
lot
the
of
course
these
of
people
1
were
month. But the top 8, there's for Vintage, it was Mental Misstep this year, and for Legacy, it was Dragon's Rage Channeler. It's exclusive art retro border foil promos that there are only 24 of each ever in existence. I won a Dragon's Rage Channeler promo, which I no longer own. I got it. It didn't spark enough joy to keep, and then someone offered me a pretty reasonable amount of Magic cards for it, so I traded it for a nice upgrade for my Legacy deck. Maybe some Beta Bayous on the way.
Seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah. I believe that multiple of the Dragon's Rage channelers that were won at this event were sold and then put into cubes immediately, which is awesome.
That is awesome. That's basically, I mean, all of these serialized cards and all of the special promos for this and Serial Showdowns and the RCs and the RCQs, and they all have to go somewhere.
Right.
And everyone's getting some real nice cubes.
There's also this event was also a 40 or 50K. I can't remember. I won a good bit of prize money.
Mm-hmm.
And the eventual winner of the event won a 1-of-1 painting giant card. It's like a painting set in a giant card of Lightning Bolt done by RK Post for Legacy, and the Vintage one was a Black Lotus done by Scott M. Fisher. My understanding was that there was a standing offer on the Lightning Bolt for 5 figures. So good for TK if he sells it, and good for TK if he keeps it.
Yeah, no
it's
kidding.
A hell of
That
a
sounds
trophy.
Great. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, Eternal Weekend is a really high value event, kind of subsidized by things that WotC gives Card Titan, but Card Titan still puts on a hell of an event. I gotta say, kudos to them for putting on a good event. The judge staff was a little bit thin for Eternal Weekend, but all things considered, like, it ran really smooth. There's only one round that had a big delay. I think it was because there was like a 20-minute, 5-minute time extension or something for a deck check on a future match or something like that.
Well, yeah, we do want to give them a shout out. We talked before the show about this, about how hard it is to run good tournaments and good coverage and all of this. And Eternal Weekend both had coverage. I mean, the whole thing. They brought out the people who are running the same cruise, DreamHack. So shout out to them, and shout out to Card Titan for doing this, because paying for coverage, paying for a lot of some of this extra stuff that makes it a cool event. Not exactly easy or profitable to do in a world where tournament organizers have folded like crazy over the past few years.
Yeah, it's cool to see an event run that kind of feels like an old school style event where like it doesn't feel quite as extractive. I'm sure the event still made plenty of money. I'm sure it was still fine, but it didn't quite feel as extractive. However, that might have just been because I was having a really good time because I was playing Legacy and winning a bunch. So who's to say what's good or bad?
All right. Well, let's dive into Breaking Bulk next.
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
I gotta drive the... Hi, everybody. I remember how to podcast. It's me with, the bulk. I will break it. I must break it.
Jesse, we have to break.
This card has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 printings in black border and 2 in gold border. And it still manages to be over $2. And it was also, one of those printings is the list. Tell me this Judgment black uncommon.
Filth?
No.
It's a zombie.
Is it? There's some Judgment.
Crippling Fatigue?
Incorrect. This is,
That's a tournament card anyways.
This is a $2 uncommon with
I don't know what cards are worth.
Lots of printings. It's a sorcery.
It's a sorcery?
Judgment.
Blackmail's Onslaught, right?
Yes.
Blackmail's
Blackmail's got like 2 printings.
Yeah, you're right.
Judgment Commander 2018.
This is the sadistic hypnotist.
It is no. That was in remember Dual Decks.
Oh
Sadistic
yeah,
I've seen that
Hypnotist
card
was
in
in
a
the
Dual Deck.
Is It versus Golgari one.
yeah.
This card was only in Commander. It was in a Commander anthology, first ever Commander, and Commander 2018.
Black Judgment uncommon.
Sorcery.
I'm stumped.
Corbin, it depicts a zombie. This is the card stitched together.
Yeah, banger pick. Yeah.
$2 on the list. Printed a ton. Just printed a ton. This is just a Magic card. It's in 29,000 decks on EDH Rec. It's a very good removal or reanimator card.
All right. Good job, Jason, for stumping us. I will go next with a Streets of New Capenna Gold Rare.
This is a bulk rare.
It's a Breaking Bulk Rare.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Maestro's.
That's half the set.
I'll narrow it down. One of the colors on it is blue. One of the colors. And it's
Maestro's
3 colors 'cause it's Capenna.
That only
Maestro's
narrows it down
Ascendancy.
20%.
It's not Maestro's Ascendancy.
No, it narrows it down 40%. Never mind.
It's got blue and black on it. And a third color.
Is it a legendary creature?
It is an instant.
Oh, okay. Is it the charm?
No, those are uncommons.
Yeah, I'd say this is a rare, so it wouldn't be that. It would be some kind of random. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what's in that set. Is that the Void Ren set?
It is the Void Ren set.
Is it Void
Is it
Ren, though?
Void?
It's Void Ren.
Yeah.
Card is 69 cents low. Nice. Buy list for $1. The card is seeing play as a 1 or a 2 of occasionally in the standard Esper deck, which is quite good. As we go into standard season, people are going to quickly realize they don't have 2.5-year-old cards.
Yep,
So pull these out of your bulk, sell them for $1, or wait longer, maybe sell them for more. It's a Breaking Bulk of the Week, my favorite.
Pick of the break. Bulk of the week. Pick of the break of the bulk of the week.
All right. Well, fair enough. I just verified mine has, in fact, not been picked this calendar year. As we are nearing the end of the calendar year, it means it's fair game. I have a Modern Horizons Blue Uncommon. Modern Horizons 1.
Uno.
It's not
It
dressed
was
out.
also in Modern Horizons 2, but only on the bonus printing.
Oh.
It's uncommon.
Common?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Junk Winder thing?
Mm-mm. But it is a creature.
For some
The
reason,
$3
Modern
foil,
Horizons
too.
just doesn't exist in my head.
It's
Is
a
it Fairy
weird
Seer?
set.
No. That's common, I think, but that's a sweet card.
Yeah, I agree. Is it a ninja?
It is not. The Human Wizard.
Wizard!
It's part of a cycle.
And was this set the first time it was printed?
Yep. It's part of a cycle, but not a. It's not a cycle within the set.
That's oh Jesus! All right.
Oh, Christ.
You'll know it when I tell you for sure.
Oh boy, can't wait to know it when you tell me. That's the point of the game.
Isn't that the point of anything, really?
Part of a cycle.
That actually just the point of
No.
talking is so that people know what you said. Anyway.
Is it a colored artifact?
No,
Is it
it's
like,
a creature.
Is it blue, or is it some sort of bullshit technique?
Is it
It's
the
2
hideaway
and a
guy?
blue. What?
It's not the hideaway guy?
No, it's 2 and a blue. So 3 mana total for a Human Wizard 2/2.
Oh, it's Treasure the Mage. Find a 3 drop. Or 2 drop.
Tinket?
Thank you. It's
Tinker?
Tribute Mage.
Yeah.
Mage.
Finds
got there.
swords, right?
Do what?
This one finds 3 drops?
That's
2
trophy-
drops.
Or
Treasure Mage gets 3s. Trinket Mage gets 1s. Tribute Mage gets 2. I'm not really sure. Like Trinket on a
What's the
1.
6+1?
That makes
that's
sense.
Treasure Mage.
Treasure Mage gets 6+, right?
Yeah, Treasure Mage gets 6+. Tribute Mage gets 2s. So I'm not sure. I guess a Trinket is a 1-drop. A Tribute is a 2-drop. That doesn't really make sense. But
It's not a 2-drop. It's just a tribute.
sure. Either way.
Holy
yeah,
shit,
it's part of
that was
that.
good,
It's part of that weird little cycle. And it's about $1. It's about $1.
About
But
a
you
dollar.
feel pretty good about yourself stumping us, huh?
Well, I typically do feel good about myself, but yes, it did provide a small spike to stump you like I do every week. It's just kind of a expected part of my podcast night is that I get a little bump off of stumping you and breaking bulk. But I actually think that
The stump bump, if you will.
the stump bump, yeah. Jason's cheated
Get
the
some
stump
bump in
bump.
his stump.
Yeah, Jason cheated the stump bump by going back 20 years, so a card I would never be able to get.
20 years for a card that was printed on the list in 2021.
What does that mean?
That means it was on a list of like 10 cards you have to know.
Uh,
I'm sorry you don't know $2 cards with 7 printings. You're like the opposite of DJ's Roku.
I do think it is possible, but maybe a few metrics here that I am the opposite of DJ.
I was like, they're going to give me... Because this is so obvious and easy, but I really couldn't find a better one.
No, it's just old. You're right, though. I mean, Stitched Together is obviously a pick, but like I couldn't tell you what set it was in originally.
I wonder how many times I've second guessed a potentially good pick. It's like, they'll get snuff out instantly. You wouldn't have got.
I would have gotten snuff out.
Vendetta. You wouldn't have
I
gotten.
do love Vendetta.
I have a Vendetta in real life, so it's good to have.
Vendetta
you in
was
cardboard.
Vendetta got reprinted in Rise of the Eldrazi, which is my favorite limited format of all time.
That card kind of blew my mind when it was printed, honestly.
I was picking Vent Sentinel in that.
And by
format.
blew my mind, I mean in Rise of the Eldrazi. It was the first time I saw it. So
I was Vendetta your Vent Sentinel.
Vendetta.
take 6
Vendetta.
or whatever. Is that what that means?
It's power, I believe. Maybe it's toughness.
It's
I
just
can't remember.
I don't remember if it was power toughness or power plus toughness.
Is John McClane technically a Vent Sentinel?
What?
It's Christmas time, so that's topical.
Yeah.
Because he guards the air vents?
He knows what a TV dinner feels like. That's called empathy.
He's an
I, mean,
empath.
I haven't seen that movie in a while, man.
You should come out to the coast. I'll have a few laughs.
My sister-in-law is a high school teacher, and she said her students came up to her and had a very important question. Could she settle for them, whether Die Hard was a Christmas movie or not? And I was like, I'm so tired of this conversation.
How old are these kids?
Well, Jason, they seems to me they would be in high school.
Okay, then they're
They're
old enough to
likely
have seen
16-ish
Die
years old, give or take.
Hard. I mean, I saw it when I was like 4 because my parents were watching it, and I stood behind them in the hallway and just watched the television. And then they turned around after I'd been there for like an hour, and they're like, "You shouldn't watch this." I just watched Joe Takagi get the half of his head blown off.
I used to do that when I was a kid too. I'd stand and I'd watch the TV. I could even sneak. My parents were so oblivious. And now, me, an adult, a parent, that would never happen to me.
Yeah. Our parenting styles are very different. Like, I never would have shown my daughter RoboCop 2 at her age.
Robert Cop.
Robert, oh.
But did you though? When did you show her RoboCop 2?
She's got to see RoboCop 1 first. I don't want her to be like completely lost. Right? RoboCop 2 is not good, for the record.
I was going to say, I was wondering if this was leading into you haven't showed a RoboCop 2 because it sucks or whatever.
Well, RoboCop 3 sucks. RoboCop 2 is just not good.
Okay, yeah, if you have a real love for 80s cop movies, I guess.
RoboCop's not a cop movie. It is a
RoboCop.
Yes.
It's a Robo movie.
About a robot cop.
It's a Jesus allegory about capitalism. Get it right. He's
More
not a
like
robot cop.
crapitalism.
He is Jesus going into the temple and kicking over everybody's tables.
Is RoboCop a robot movie, Jason?
No.
So it's RoboCop is neither a robot
He's the only
or
robot.
cop
It's him
movie.
and Ed 209. There are 2 robots in the movie.
Okay,
It's
so
not a robot
RoboCop is both not a robo or a cop movie.
Now
Glad we've
you're getting it.
established that.
Improv
Okay.
comedy isn't funny. Like, sometimes you just name a thing counterintuitively.
Okay.
American cheese is made of oil. Like, what do you want from me?
Is this why it
It's the American cheese of robot cop movies.
You know what? Maybe this is why RoboCop has lasted so long in the American psyche is because it's named so poorly.
It is named terribly. Alex Murphy is Jesus, which is why he walks on water and he's resurrected. Right?
Jason,
He's-
man, no one.
He's there to destroy capitalism. Because capitalism is the reason that Murphy didn't get any backup when he was going to Boddicker's hideout.
No one. This is your. At least with Speed, maybe people have seen it. You know.
Can we do a RoboCop like film analysis podcast, unrelated to magic entirely?
RoboCop came out like 5 years before Speed. These aren't different eras.
Jason, can we do like Till Death Do Us Blart, but instead we just watch RoboCop every year?
Death Do Us Blart. Oh my
You know what Death
Absolutely.
Do Us Blart is? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, you watch
Corbin?
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
I mean, clearly, I'm inferring, and that sounds amazing.
The
Not that I'd
McElroys have
wanna
done it
watch
for
it,
like
but
a decade now or something.
that's very.
Oh, is
funny.
that who does it?
Yeah, they watch Paul Blart Mall Cop and record a podcast afterwards.
I think my wife made a mistake. The first McElroy podcast I heard was Sawbones, and I was like, wow, this doctor's really funny, but her husband's annoying as
Jason, they were not 5 years apart, just for the record.
Well, how many years apart were they? I want to say RoboCop was 86 and Speed was 92.
Okay, Speed was 94,
Okay.
and RoboCop was
86, 87?
87.
Okay. I was pretty close.
You were pretty close. I'll give you credit for that. But I got to
Yeah,
say,
I'll
just
say
like
credit.
Close
in
on
my
the counts of
mind,
horseshoes, hand grenades, thermonuclear war, and guessing the release date of RoboCop.
in my mind,
And prices.
1994 and 1986 are like two different worlds, and it's possible it's because I was born in between the two.
I think it's because everyone changed their clothes. Nobody's changed their clothes since 2000. Like, those towers went down and everyone's like, well, it's just this for the rest of my life. Everything changed on 9/11 except our outfits.
Yeah, you're missing an Uggs era in there, old man.
The Uggs era is still going on. That's just a thing we have now.
No.
Hasbro laid off 1,100 employees today.
Yeah, that's the sad news we've avoided talking about thus far.
Yeah.
Why? Is Magic doing poorly, you ask?
Nope.
No.
Magic
Everything
is
else
doing
though.
poorly at its job of propping up a company that's like, people still want Nerf guns.
People do
Baldur's
still want
Gate
Nerf
3
guns,
was the
for the
game of
record.
the year or whatever, right? And then how are they going to sell D&D books? People who only played Baldur's Gate 3. No one wants to buy a D&D book. You can just get it for free on the internet as a JPEG or a PDF or whatever the file type's called.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to buy a Nerf gun because if you carry a Nerf gun, you get shot by the real cops, not the RoboCops.
Yeah, RoboCop would never shoot somebody with a Nerf gun.
He would analyze. He was like his thing would go like bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah.
Nerf gun.
The heads-up display would be like toy gun.
Yeah. But like, Hasbro doesn't know that. Chris Cox received $9-point-something million in compensation last year.
For what? What did he do?
He
Be
is
like, hey.
steering the ship in the right direction, making sure the shareholders get paid. He has earned every penny of that because he made sure that the shareholders got paid because that is his only job.
Yeah, I don't have the balls. If I got paid $10 million to ruin something somebody liked, that person would kick, right? But this guy just sleeps like a baby on a pile of money. I understand.
Probably.
Where aren't
I had
we
a pile
at
of money,
his
I'd sleep
house
like a
right
baby.
now? Where are we at his house outside being like, hey, knock it off?
Mostly because I am comfy in my home and I don't know where he lives. That's mostly why.
Yeah, me too.
For legal
Also,
reasons, this is a joke.
the cops would probably just shoot me. It's really illegal.
Well, not the RoboCops, though.
It's really illegal to put Chris Cox's address up on the screen right now. JJ.
Dude, can you just flash like a fake address on the screen? Like the address for like a Taco Bell, like the Demolition Man Taco Bell. Just flash that address on the screen, please.
Did they say the address in Demolition Man? That's a movie that is not held up.
No, but there was a Taco Bell in California that had a pop up that was a Demolition Man Taco Bell, and I assume that one has an address.
That would have been sweet. Yeah, I bet it does have an address.
A buddy of mine
But
went
it's
to it and
not
has
in
pictures,
Seattle,
and it's
though.
fucking awesome. It was
gotta be
awesome. It was a very, very accurate set.
What if we fucked up the address and somebody went to Jeff Bezos' house by mistake? And they were
Let's
like,
not put any addresses on screen.
well, I'm here.
You know what address you should go to? Is www.coalesceapparelanddesign.com and use code Brainstorm Brewery at checkout for 10% off your order and put some money in my pocket.
I agree
Maybe not
with
my
Cass
pocket.
right there.
Maybe Corbin's pocket. or Jason's pocket?
I don't need money. I need beer. And that is why Eric Lopez sent me this delicious beer from the, I want to say, 8-Bit Ale Works in Arizona. This is called Ichabod. It is a barrel-aged pumpkin beer. And, I'm going to try it out. And while we're drinking beer, let's talk about why Eric reached out. Does he want me to talk about a service? No. How about a product? No. Eric would like me to talk about a person. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets, but sometimes they have 8 years of senior front-end development experience. Eric included his CV. I'm not going to rest until this man has a job, okay? So if you're looking for a senior front-end software engineer who knows React and let's look at this tech stack. He knows all the stuff. Just hire, right? Everyone's like, oh, we can't hire. Hire Eric Lopez specifically because the man sent me a beer and I'm going to work tirelessly. I'm going to bug all my professional connections. I will get this person a job just to prove that I can do it. And when this person is hired, I will drink the other beer I was sent as a celebration. So let's take a sip of this Ichabod. It smells like Corbin would absolutely hate it. Oh, yeah. That smells like straight paint thinner.
Oh, that's my...
Ooh. Oh! Oh, that is good. BBA stout, but it's got just a little pumpkin-y hint. I like it. Got some coffee going on. Ooh. Nice choice on the beer, Eric. I know you don't really drink a ton of beer and you had to like kind of guess, but yeah, you nailed it. So, since you sent me a quality beer, I'm going to make sure you get a job. Contact me for Eric Lopez's, I'll send you his info.
I got to say,
Like,
Jason, this seems to end with you and ending up with a lot of beers and becoming a sort of, I don't know, like beer for resume. Yeah.
He's like a Jumbotron.
I said I would
here.
advertise anything for a beer. Am I being inundated with beers or do I get one every like maybe a month? This is the cheap, like people are like, oh, does anybody want to sponsor my podcast? It's not a good market for podcast sponsorship. If I can't get a beer a week, you're not getting $500 an episode. I'm sorry.
What do you think we have to do to get a MeUndies sponsorship or like a HelloFresh sponsorship? I'll talk about HelloFresh. I'll talk about MeUndies.
I'm wearing a MeUndies thong right now. Well, it's a front pouch. Hey, everybody, if you don't succeed, try again. If you apply for a content creator badge and then they ask for your Twitter and your Twitter is full of tweets about how you don't do content anymore, they won't give you a content creator badge. What you can do is be media. So I will be in Chicago. I'm taking the train so I can day drink. It's gonna be awesome. Catch me in Chicago unless you want to kill me, in which case I'm at JJ, go ahead and put the address on the screen again. Catch me in Chicago repping the Seattle Kraken.
And Chicago's going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
First MagicCon of the year. Pro Tour Murders at Karlov Manor. Looking forward to that side of things. It'll be interesting to see how they refresh because Wizards obviously ran their 3 or 4 MagicCons or whatever it was in this sort of year-long stretch here going back to Vegas 2022 where we had the World Championship. So this is, I imagine, their opportunity to reset, look at everything, refresh the themes, all of that stuff, right? Budgets reset at the end of the year.
Yeah.
As we saw with the...
It'll be a new beginning. Everyone will be like,
Layoffs.
I'm still going to the gym. We still have hope.
Well, I'm interested to see what evolutions there are in MagicCon, both like in things that you see when they're advertising and all of that, but also on the floor, right? If it's, are they just rolling out the same layers and stuff that we had last year? Are they expanding the some of the offerings on stage, or is it staying the same? Like we don't have a lot.
They're
of
tweaking.
Sort of
If you look at the stuff they listed when you applied for badges or like I guess bought a badge, there's new stuff. They're tweaking it. Plus, the guy who's like partially in charge of some of that stuff used to be at my LGS. So if you have any suggestions for like what you can offer to incentivize people to go up a badge tier or just come to an event. If you haven't gone to A Magic Fest? Go to a Magic Fest.
It's true.
Chicago's a sicko city. It's going to be fantastic.
Be prepared that Magic Fest costs money. Do not go to a Magic Fest expecting it to be like a Grand Prix, because they're not.
If you go to a Magic Fest and you're broke, you got to get your money up first. Get your money
They
up.
are designed to extract
talk to
money
me.
from you, not to, like Grand Prix we're always at, but poorly designed at that.
Yeah, but it's like they're designed to get money from you in exchange for something that you want more than money, though.
Yeah, no, just is. That's what I'm saying. You just have. It's like going to
So
Vegas.
it's not,
right?
yeah, it's not like a gotcha game. It's just like, here's all the you like. Did you know you needed a?
Be prepared.
Did you know you needed a Magic the Gathering varsity jacket? Well, you do need that.
Those are kind of cool. They had some pretty neat merch offerings at the store.
I would wear a Strixhaven varsity jacket. That'd be sweet.
Pens don't do it for me, but some of the other merch they had was pretty.
Yeah, pins are cool. They're just who's mad to get a pin? Either you don't want a pin, or you're super happy to have a pin.
Yeah,
No one's
exactly.
ever mad.
Yeah, exactly. And you can give them to somebody who does want them. And that's a whole thing at conventions, which was just kind of adopted from other conventions of this whole exclusive pins thing and tracking them down. And I guess ostensibly the point of that is that it's cool to collect them all. I've literally never seen anyone talk about a secondary market for that stuff. Couldn't tell you if it exists.
As someone who's worked a booth at the show where like the booth has the ability to give out exclusive pens, people are very excited about getting the pen.
Yeah. We're actually, this podcast is sponsored by Pinfinity. Go to pinfinity.com and use the promo code PINBSB to save 20%. What if there is a pinfinity.com? I'm not giving a... Pinfinity, you didn't send me a beer. If you're a real website and people go to your website, you owe me a beer.
Jason, Infinity is a Magic the Gathering website, man.
Oh, I knew it.
If we
So
are
sell
willing
pens,
to accept
bro.
sponsorships from a pen company, whether
They
it's
sell pens, man.
Infinity or Bic. We would take up sponsorship from Bic.
Oh, yeah.
They're a pen company.
But they have pins, I'm sure.
They got pens and pens.
Yeah, pins and pens.
They got razors too.
They do?
Well, we
Bic?
did have that Manscaped sponsorship for a while.
Bic razors, like really crappy razors.
No. I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, Bic razors. Bic
Oh,
lighters
like-
too.
Bic lighter. Yeah, you can actually make something called a Gillette bayonet using only a Bic safety razor and a lighter.
You knew what a Bic razor was then.
I did the whole time.
You bamboozled me, bro.
I just wanted to say Gillette bayonet so everyone knows I watched Oz in the 2000s.
What a f***ing jape that was.
Ooh, you got rope-a-doped.
Anybody who heard that was me getting smacked in the face by my own hands, simulating Jason smacking me around.
A
Not in a
plus
sexy way
for
this
use
time.
of the correct
Not
use of the
necessarily.
word.
Why would I ever smack you around in a not a sexy way? Like, who has
don't know.
time?
Correct uses of the word jape. A plus.
I'm rewatching House MD, and I just got to the episode where, I believe Harold of Harold and Kumar, John Cho, I believe his name is. He plays a guy with an with an erotic asphyxiation kink. And
Yeah,
it's
and
killing
he has a mistress and he does her taxes. That changed
Yeah.
my life when I heard that. I was like, you could exchange services for services?
That episode was fantastic. He played such a good little pervert.
Oh yeah, he was with a
was
broken
Kumar in that
jaw.
episode?
No,
What's that?
Like Kumar wasn't in the show yet.
This was season 1 or season 2.
it was season
I
1.
vaguely
He did
remember
season
that.
1.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched a lot of House like everyone else 15 years ago.
It turns out he had a broken jaw that didn't heal right,
Yeah.
and then there was like pus in
Infection.
it. And House found it. Yeah,
And that was the last episode with Vogler, who that dude plays that actor played a detestable character very well. I
Who?
hated his guts.
Ooh, what?
Vogler was the medical the pharmacy rep who gave the hospital $100 million, and then he basically was like trying to control everybody and make House promote bad drugs.
yeah.
Oh,
It was
played the role really
it was
well.
Chai McBride.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
from what? From
for
what?
Roll Bounce.
Also unrelated, Omar Epps in that series, he plays Foreman. Incredible as fuck. He's so good, such a good actor.
Yeah.
Actually,
He
think
just
that's
like
true.
mirrors House's energy episode by episode, and it's so good.
Well, when they brought in the new crew and he kind of got a management position, like I feel like he kept finding room for the character to grow. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Well, his whole thing was that he was like a mirror to House because he was just as bad of a person as House. He just hit it better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, such a good show.
It was something. That Boomer in here. That show was a real cultural phenomenon.
I was in college when that show started, and it was on Tuesday night, and we used to skip the fire drill every month to watch House.
That show to me was one of the first attempts at like prestige quality TV on cable. And
Getting
really
a guy
nailed it.
whose last show is where he played a spoiled guy named Worcester who had a butler named Jeeves. Hugh Laurie had a weird television career in the UK.
He sure did.
You look at the he did, it's like, what in the is this?
It also just like it's a Sherlock Holmes spinoff where the stakes are established every episode automatically. Like you don't have to spend time establishing why Moriarty getting this thing is bad. Moriarty is just this disease killing the person.
A kid dying.
This kid's gonna die. That's the stakes. The stakes are already high. You can now focus on the mystery.
Like, I hate kids, but I love mysteries. I sound American, and I'm like,
sometimes you don't.
You've described the show very well.
Every English person that they're like, English people can sound American and no one can tell. There's always one word they can't say, and it's so funny.
He does a British accent in one episode in the series, and it's so funny.
Because it's not even his regular talking voice.
Right, yeah. I think I've said it before, but there's a great scene in Jurassic Park that made it through to the final cut where Sam Neill's accent just completely goes. Like it is straight up his normal New Zealand whatever, and it's like a key scene in the movie. And I don't know how it slipped through to the final cut.
Did you ever see Peaky Blinders? Sam Neill and Peaky Blinders. He did the Irish accent, and it's so. He did the most accent.
You know what's so funny? Leonardo DiCaprio learned how to sound like he was South African, hardcore. He studied with somebody, and everyone's like, he sounds like in Blood Diamond. He's like, well, I went to South Africa. I talked to Andy Serkis. And they're like, no, you sound like dude. He's like, well, all right, cool, I guess.
Jesus.
It was too good, and everyone's like, he doesn't sound like my uncle.
Did he practice that accent for Blood Diamond or for Django? Heard he was method acting for both.
I heard he said the N-word in front of Samuel L. Jackson, and I would never do that for any amount of money.
Apparently Samuel L. Jackson yelled at him for being too sheepish about it and was just like, be a actor.
I hear this.
I
hear this fucking word all the time. Yeah, but he said it to Kerry Washington, too. I couldn't look her in the face.
I got no opinions on any of this. It's not my place.
I'm not an actor, but
I'm just doing Roy
extraordinarily
Wood material at this point. He has a great bit about how people
listen,
that play racist white people in movies are the best actors because they have to eat lunch by themselves.
I mean,
it's like, I'm not mad at you, but I'm not going to sit with you at lunch.
I don't know that I don't think I would do it, but it's one thing probably if you're Leonardo DiCaprio doing it with Samuel L. Jackson. It's another thing if you're in some low budget movie or whatever. And
it's another thing if you're Quentin Tarantino. You're right.
What did Leonardo DiCaprio get paid for Django?
I don't know. The only thing you Google Leonardo DiCaprio, Django Unchained, and the only thing that comes up is that he actually broke that glass with his hand and he got cut and he kept acting for 3 more seconds.
He only received $1 million for Django.
He got $1 million for that.
He only got $1 million. Yeah, I think it's because he wanted to work with Tarantino.
Yeah,
Tarantino's whole thing is that everyone wants to work with him.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Jeff Daniels get paid $10,000 for Dumb and Dumber?
He got $20 million for Catch Me If You Can.
That movie wasn't you know what the funniest thing about Catch Me If You Can is? All that shit's made up. Frank Abagnale didn't do any of that.
Yeah,
so
it's dope. It's another.
He bamboozled people with a story about how he bamboozled people.
Yeah,
he got
it's amazing.
$29 million for The Revenant, and he only got $40K for Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but he got endless play on HBO. Every time that movie's shown on HBO, he gets $1.
All right. Well, enough movie talk. Before we get out of here this week, let's do a little more magic finance.
I want $21 million. Why? Because $24 million's too old. I mean, too much money.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was funny. I was surprised at the comedy.
If you're going to interrupt, at least it was. I'll give that one a pass.
Yeah,
Least.
that was good.
Fair enough. All right, let's dive in to pick of the week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I'll start us off while Jason finds one.
You better.
I'm professional. I came prepared. It's just, am I going to do another Mr. House President and CEO pick?
Let me just pull mine up here just to be sure.
Yeah, mine too. I'm ready.
Mine is an Innistrad Crimson Vow rare land, specifically Deathcap Glade. It is one of the only lands in the set that hasn't been reprinted in a supplemental product. Many of them got reprints in Doctor Who, some of them got reprints in Challenger decks. Deathcap Blade, I don't believe had any. It was just in Crimson Vow set and draft boosters and collector boosters. It is played as a 4-of in the standard green-black rock deck, and Crimson Vow was printed, what, in 2021? We're about to be in 2024, which means it's the second oldest set in standard.
Crimson Vow couldn't have been 2021.
It's what it says on the card, 21.
Yeah, but like, I'm arguing with the card. I'm not arguing with you.
Oh, that's fair. This card's at like $9. The direct premium on it goes up to $15. If you would like to play Green, Black, Rock, and Standard, and it's probably a good deck, you should get 4 of these before it's too late, because this card, and also an addendum, all of the Capenna Triomes are going to get expensive because no one opens Capenna anymore, and the Domain deck plays 12 of them.
Also, like, they're just triomes, right? And
Right.
I'm sure they'll get reprinted. Eventually, they'll be reprinted into the ground, maybe, but maybe they'll live in that Shockland space where they're always $10. I don't know. But yeah, Jason was more arguing with the passage of time, I think.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
You know, LeBron says he's trying to give Father Time 1 L. I don't know. Jason's trying as well. But I'm working. But Jason,
He
your
lives
pick
in
of the week-
Ohio, talking about L's.
He doesn't live in Ohio, man.
Sure he does.
The Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA title in 2020 with LeBron James.
Cool.
So
What's your pick, Corbin?
Why would he live in Ohio?
It is a passage of time here that Jason's angry at. All right, my pick actually is pretty timey-wimey itself.
Get the out of here.
It's called Dinosaurs on a Spaceship from Doctor Who.
I picked this card like 3 weeks ago.
Shit. No, I picked this card 3 weeks ago. Shit.
Even funnier. Keep
And
it in
now-
the cast. He's got to own this.
Damn it, it's a good pick.
No, it's not.
Not anymore. It already spiked because of Ixalan.
It was a good pick.
It was a good pick.
It's still, for what it's worth, still kind of climbing. It's settled down around about $14, $15. It did spike because of Ixalan. It is powerful though, and it is. We've seen all the Warhammer popular cards go up over time, and it's possible that we see some of the Doctor Who ones same path.
This card
pretty powerful
actually,
one.
someone posted a legacy deck list that plays it's like a card that reverse cascades a 3-mana creature from Doctor Who, or maybe it's from Warhammer, that reverse cascades for a card and then suspends it for 3 turns. It's definitely it's definitely Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 3-mana creature. It's the top of your curve in a legacy deck, and you basically do that into this card or Emrakul.
Seems pretty sick.
Those aren't dinosaurs or spaceships. This is bull.
You haven't seen. Jason's not a Doctor Who watcher, so he hasn't seen the episode.
Me either. So.
I saw all of the
This is
Christopher
all-
Eccleston season, and that was enough.
Well, we're watching that with Ben right now. Actually, it's fun, but it's pretty dated. All right, Jason, what are you looking at for pick of the week?
I wasn't
here?
dated. That came out the same year as House.
Yep.
Is House an old show?
Is it on Lifetime yet?
Are you on Lifetime? You know what? Lifetime, in my lifetime, I've never seen a card with this few copies still under $5. All 3 different versions of Archfiend of Ifnir are just on the up and up. You should get that under 5 while you still can. Archfiend is a busted magical card. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control. Do you understand how dog this card would be if it said when you cycle?
Very bad.
But instead it says when you do something you probably don't do much, or something you do all the time.
This is so news. This is a bulk rare. This card was a bulk rare for so long when it was heavily played, and now that it is, because this was a living in staple back in the day, and now that it's not played at all competitively, it's worth $3-4.
This June it went up like crazy because of printing.
It's wild. I had no idea. There's a buy a box promo that, like, these are bulk rare box cards up until recently.
Until they printed Oscar, Esmeralda Martica, that's an Akulda card, Tala's, Ruffine, Olivia, and Raven Man, and what else is the other recent one? Sauron Dark Lord. Like, this card just got real good in the last little bit, so...
That's crazy.
Yeah, people are... Indominus Rex is the new commander using this. Indominus Rex, Alpha. That's the #1 most built Jurassic Park Eddie deck.
Yeah, I think that was a cool... people liked that color combination for it. And it's a 1 commander. You don't have to do partners or anything.
Or you don't have to play a card that has Chris Pratt on it either.
Crisp
That's
rat.
the one I'm building.
What is a crisp rat?
Is somebody cast a burn spell on a rat pack? Chris Pratt.
Understood.
I tapped Chris Pratt to put out Healthy Sun.
Thanks for watching Brainstorm Brewery. I've been your host, DJ Dougie Johnson, here with Cass Lynn, Jason Alt, and Corbin's Dead. Tune in next week. We'll have the full squad together. Maybe Jason will be gone. Who's to say? Maybe Corbin will be gone. Maybe I'll be gone. Maybe DJ will be gone. I'm DJ. Thanks to our sponsors, Colas Apparel and Design, HelloFresh, MeUndies, MTG Stocks. Am I missing anybody? Kyle, Eric Lopez, Pinfinity.
Kyle Lopez has
methamphetamine,
never
ayahuasca.
sponsored this podcast.
These are or sponsored by. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am gonna go watch Dr. House MD. I love you all. Goodbye.
It's not called Dr. House MD. That's his name. The show's just called House, I think, right? It can't possibly be called Dr. House MD.
I don't know.
I think it's House MD, but that was a great outro. You should cut it right after that.
It's called House.
Oh,
Also
it's
called
called
House MD. It's also called House MD, but not Dr. House MD.
Okay.